Hey guys, Loco here. It's Valentine's Day! Woo! But you're all lonely nerds, so you're spending it watching a YouTube video about professional League of Legends. Don't worry, I'm a simp too, and I'm here making YouTube videos about professional League of Legends. Anyways, let's talk about what you're here for. Broxah is finally here.
Wait, there he is, there he is!
Thank God. There's been a lot of questions about TL's recent underperformance in LCS. They're currently 2-4, and just last week, they dropped games to both Golden Guardians and 100 Thieves. Yikes. I think the community has spun up two really naive takes from the scoreline. The first one is, Surefire is god-awful. This guy sucks, he should never be a player in LCS again, and he's all the reasons why TL is terrible. The second take is, once Broxah comes back, Team Liquid will be back on top. We're gonna be number one again, baby. Let's just wait for that Danish duo of Broxah and Jensen. I understand where it's all coming from though, since this iteration of Team Liquid just won 4 LCS championships back to back and upgraded by replacing Xmity with Broxah. So if they suck with Surefire, it must mean he's just god awful, and all we need to do is wait for Broxah to come in and save the day, right? Not quite. Surefire isn't the LCS's best jungler, and there's definitely problems arising from having him on the team, but TL has issues way deeper than just Surefire. So let's dive in and dissect this issue. Surefire is actually a huge part of TL's early game issues. Let's just take a look at his stats. He has some of the worst early game stats for a jungler, and he's actually dead last when it comes to goal differential at 15. Yes, Team Liquid overall has a bad early game right now, so it's going to reflect negatively also on Surefire's stats, but he isn't the best pathter, and he doesn't get the best looks when he's ganking, and also his synergy with his laners are pretty bad.
Right now we're seeing Shern yet again look towards the bottom lane, a rare bot lane gank for Team Liquid with his jungler, and this could be the play. FBI's gonna need a lantern, gets to walk over to it in time, and Core just could not land the E to stop it. Nicely done by Keith, lanterning out.
And Impact, he is actually starting Spellbook, so your early laning is weaker. This ward has not yet spotted Surefire, and Broken Blade could be in trouble. He's level 1.
Broken Blade just getting level 2. Step backwards so he does not get knocked up by the Surefire combo. He still takes a little bit of damage there, but keeps all summoner spells intact, and honestly, he's in good shape.
So by having Broxah come in, I think it should definitely help with Team Liquid's shaky early game. Broxah is a strong mechanical jungler that plays well with his lanes, especially mid, and luckily for Team Liquid, Jensen has been the lone bright spot in their roster in the first 3 weeks, so off the get-go, the two Danes should give Team Liquid a strong mid and jungle duo that they can rely on in the early game and also be a backbone for everything that's to come. Here's where things are going to get a bit tricky. Team Liquid has problems beyond the early game and the jungle underperformance that are much harder and more complicated to fix. Let's start with the most obvious, their pick and ban. Team Liquid has shown that they are an extremely rigid team that is slow to pick up champions. They've been consistently banning Lucian, Qiyana on both sides, and when Soraka became meta, they also started banning it. I really think TL should have picked up Soraka. I think Impact would actually be a great Soraka player, and Team Liquid is all about team fighting, and Soraka is just that, and if they like playing towards bot lane so much, Soraka's global ult helps out with it so much too, so pretty confused about the Soraka one. From the start of the season, they've been banning Rumble, and when they finally picked it versus Golden Guardians, Jensen was pretty mediocre on the champion to say the least, and he kept overheating in really bad moments.
Haunts are solo pushing in that mid lane, and it's going to be up to TL to try to wave clear this one out.
Ulti after the poke from the Q. Jensen chunked so low he can't fight anymore. Maybe an ult over the top.
Lastly, and the most infamous one, Team Liquid sucks at Senna. She's one of the best AD carries in the meta right now, along with Aphelios, and they're currently 0-4 on the champion. And teams have recognized how weak they are on it and constantly put TL in a spot where they're almost forced to pick it. I mean, just watch what Golden Guardians did to them. They banned Aphelios and Xayah and picked Misfortune early, so they put Doublelift in a spot where he's just forced to pick Senna, and he did, and it turned out to be god-awful. Now, let's move on to their macro. Team Liquid is, and has been, and probably always will be, a conservative teamfight team for the last 2 years. And forever onward. And the preseason changes have been messing with their playstyle so much. with turret place being stronger and turret in general being much harder to take down when there's multiple members, and dragons being individually weaker, a lot individually weaker. You need to make sure you have 4 dragons and you get that dragon soul before they actually mean anything. It's really hurt TL's gameplay of play around bot lane, let's stack dragons, and scale for teamfight. That's been their main go-to plan for as long as they've had this iteration. As long as they've had Doublelift, that's been their way to play. Also, Team Liquid really hates taking fights where they feel like it isn't very favored for them, so they rather avoid the risk and losing the fight and scale for later. It really shows whenever the enemy team gets heralded. Team Liquid will often try to trade on the other side of the map, and it just isn't feasible with how tanky turrets are now, and TL falls massively behind in these situations.
All right, should be able to have no response here. So turret plates on top of it. They'll be traded with topside turret plates because 100 Thieves have left the area. But because you have Rift Herald, when you break these turret plates, you get the bulwark stacking up. Rift Herald will do true damage. So you get the turret so incredibly quickly. Yeah. And they're going to rush ahead in tempo.
And they will get first turret off this push.
Here we go. Barrel's gonna farm up those minions. Impact has already been forced back. You can see he had to use the World Ender already to escape. And there she goes. Shelly makes sure it gets rammed down. First turret gold, Dignitas.
And I love it. Look how much slower it is for TL to take these last plates. Because they've been here and the turret bonus armor MR has been building up so much, that turret is at 370 armor unless they reset.
Their game plan is get Doublelift ahead, and let's scale off for team fights. And these hero fights where the bot lane has to match the enemy bot lane and try to defend and take the 5v5 earlier on in the game just does not play towards how Team Liquid wants to play. Also, their late game macro has been sloppy to say the least. And TL's made some boneheaded decisions, such as when they let Golden Guardians just take a Baron. Well, just because I guess I still don't understand how this Baron take actually happened.
The Golden Guardians are actually just rushing down the Baron, and it looks like it's gone.
What a sick play. They sneak it out. Everyone else gets out of the pit as well. During the replay, Golden Guardians sneak a Baron, and suddenly they've got the things they need to push a lead.
Lastly, a huge problem has been Doublelift's recent underperformance, and he isn't playing up to the usual MVP level that's been expected out of him. And the Senna games we've already touched over multiple times, I don't need to mention it again, but it's a huge problem on TL that Doublelift isn't playing well. Since, as I said before, their entire game plan revolves around Doublelift. It's about winning bot lane, making sure bot lane has priority, and through that they get river control. And by having river control, the jungle can just be around bot side and match the enemy jungler in terms of the 3v3, and they'll be stronger. If you match me, we win the 3v3. If you don't match me, we're going to stack multiple people on the bot lane turret and take the turret and swap up to top side. That's just been their game plan, and they've done amazingly well in North America with it. The meta has shifted away from this game plan, yes, but Double's first 6 games doesn't even put him as a top 5 AD carry in LCS right now, let alone the best. So for TL to turn things around, Double really needs to get back on his MVP level, or it's just not going to work out for Team Liquid. Broxah's Visa getting improved and him finally coming to NA is a giant sigh of relief for Team Liquid and their fans, but do note, be cautious, TL has a mountain of problems to solve in front of them, and not all of them stem from Surefire. Rather, most of them came from the other 4 members. I really do hope TL can turn it around though, and we have another contender fighting with C9 and TSM to keep the spring split exciting, because it doesn't mean anything anymore. And also, Team Liquid is such a historic organization. They've done so much in the last 2 years, and yeah, like to see them fail, while it might make other fans and analysts happy to finally have someone else on top, NALCS just does not have great teams right now, and I'd rather not one of our top teams start doing badly and we just send a terrible team to Worlds, because yeah, Team Liquid just didn't show up the entire year. That's not something we should pray for. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and let me know what you think will happen to Team Liquid now that they have Broxah. Are they going to be the #1 team? Are they going to be on the level of C9 and TSM and making the big 3 again? Or are they going to be somewhere around Dignitas, FlyQuest level, just making it into playoffs at 4, 5, 6? Or maybe they don't even make playoffs, or maybe they're dead last. Let me know what you think. And one last thing, I'm not crazy, I'm just Loco. Bye! And also have a great Valentine's Day, guys.